welcome to the Boopcast number 32. I totally didn't forget to turn on the desktop audio before playing the intro music. We are your hosts, SheNoob and...
Cory.
And this week we are discussing Chapter 4 of RWBY Volume 6 with a very special guest, Mr. Beaz1989.
Hi.
You guys know him as Tyson. You all know him. Everyone here should know who he is. Except maybe for Alex. This is our friend Tyson.
Don't worry about me. I'm not important.
Okay, well, Tyson, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into RWBY, how long you've been watching it, and yeah.
Got into RWBY through some friends, obviously introducing me to Rooster Teeth initially. I think I watched all of RWBY about 18 months ago. And so, yeah, obviously I fell in love with it. But now I obviously keep up with it. But it's an incredible series. And it just, it's been, as I'm getting further into it, I'm now going back and going, I want to try and understand, like, the lore and that as well. But, yeah, so fairly new to it. I didn't start when it first came out. But, yeah, no, it's good.
I'm shaking my head at Danny in the chat right now. For goodness sake.
I'm just ignoring him because I'll just lose my train of thought.
Tyson's boyfriend's in the chat! Yay!
The entire time before we started, she was like, disgusting. You two were disgusting.
So disgusting. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for dropping in. So Chapter 4. Definitely a lot shorter episode than the week before, and we kind of knew this was, well, you were right on the money with the runtime, actually. And we knew this was going to be a shorter episode. We knew it was going to be fallout from the previous episode, because what else are they going to do with it, really? But there were a few things going on. We finally got another look at Salem. Have we seen her at all this volume?
No, I don't think so.
I think this is our first look at the villains. Oh god, it's early. the villains for the whole volume. So yeah, we will get into that, and we'll talk a little bit about the Creepy and the Rewind as well. So podcasts. How do I do that again? That's a thing.
Remember, if you guys want to ask a question anytime during the stream, click on the little box in the bottom right corner,
Cory
and your
is better at my
question
job
will pop
than
up on
I am.
screen.
It's fine. And yes, they are
It's
activated
early.
this time. I already did that. So if you do have a question at any time, you can use the Streamlabs menu to redeem a question for 10 noob points. So if you've been here at all, you should have at least 10 points with which to redeem a question. And it will pop up on stream and we can answer it for you. So, I've just noticed Pishian, like, dorking out over the score for the whole time he's been in the chat. I play the Renora score from Volume 4 before this every week, so everyone always comments on the score. Okay, so loving me some scores, yes. Before we get into the episode, we'll start by talking a little bit about the Creepy. That sounds like a question. Danny Derrick has asked, what do you guys think of Ozpin mentally blocking himself in? Ugh.
He's a coward.
Yes, he is a ginormous coward. We'll get more into detail on this in a little bit, but yeah, I'm fucking pissed off at him for just noping out instead of actually facing the group and facing the choices that he's made, and just like being a bratty teenager essentially, and just being like, nah, I'm gonna go in my room now. I've had enough.
Oh yeah, he absolutely took the easy way out.
Yeah, what a wank.
There you go.
I'm actually so annoyed at Ozpin right now. But yeah, we'll start off by talking a little bit about the Creepy, which was called A Touch of Evil this week, and they talked about getting to the villains for the first time this volume, and they talked about the intricacies of animation and animating Salem, and one thing that I noted that was particularly interesting was how they talked about eye details in the characters. And they minutely described the way that they work the eye details. So they used the shot of Emerald realizing that Cinder is actually alive, when she sort of looks up and her eyes widen and they shake a little bit. And it's just like tiny little subtle details like that really sell the emotion of the characters. So, and they're things that not everyone would probably notice. I notice them because I look for them. But, yeah, it's one of those intricacies of animation where you want it to be so realistic that nobody notices it. So that's the thing. You want to animate so well that it's not noticeable, the things that you animate. So
yeah, if you're not someone who's being really observant, you wouldn't pick it up. But see, no. I'm like that in most things because I want to be emotionally invested in things. I keep my eye out for that stuff, and I really did notice it this episode.
Yeah, Pishin, the eye movements have been really good, and because these characters, because of the way they're designed, there's not a whole lot to work with their faces. The only thing you can really see is eyebrows, eyes, and mouth, and that's not like there's a lot of work going into putting the emotion in those aspects of their faces, and the eyes are like 80% of it, probably, I would say. So, yeah, good work on the Kurubi this volume with the facial expression of the characters. Gets better every year. The rewind. So, it was a very short rewind episode, actually, only 24 minutes long, which I wasn't surprised because the chapter itself is very short. But they had Shannon McCormick on as a guest this week, who voices Ozpin. And I totally didn't forget that Shannon was still voice acting for Ruby. Because
I know, like
just forget about
Oz is hardly in here anymore.
I know, like, because Ozpin himself is gone, has been since Volume 3. But I'm like, but his voice is still in Oscar, but we also hear Oscar's voice actor at the same time. So I just completely forgot that Shannon was even voice acting anymore. I was like, oh shit, I guess he still doesn't do the voice for Oscar.
I was gonna say he's still got a job.
Yeah, he's still got a job. So yeah, they were immediately talking about, like, poor Oscar. He's copying all of Ozpin's shit. Like, he gets punched in the face and it's not his fault. And I'm like, I feel this so hard. I'm like, poor fucking Oscar. He's copying all of this crap from everyone, and Crow punches him full in the face. That would have fucking hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's not his fault. Like, stop abusing the poor baby. Like, seriously. Yeah, Oz is a coward for escaping. They touched on that. Crow punching a child. Yeah, and Maria Calavera. So they were talking about the fact that, like, we don't even know who she is, and she's like being the mother of the group already, like whipping everybody into shape and being like, all right, bitches, calm the hell down. We gotta get moving before we die in the fucking snow. I've got a quote here from Chad. That's pretty crazy, but let's go. I'm not gonna die in the cold. Yeah. I'm really curious about her because, like, she's just kind of being a witness to everything that's going down here. I don't know how much she knows about any of this. Probably nothing. And she's just, like, getting all this info dumped on her, and I'm like, how is she gonna, like, how do you even react to that? Like, suddenly she's just joined up with this group of people that have all this fucked up crap going on. And
yeah, she's
finding out about all of this humanity and God stuff, and I'm like, who are you? I need to know more about you.
Yeah, I'm very excited to learn more about her, especially because she did take all of this very gracefully.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else is like, you bastard! And she's just like, okay, no, we need to not die.
Well, I mean, she doesn't
yeah,
have
she's very calm.
She doesn't have the history with Oz and the other characters. They've literally just met. So I'm like, yeah, how else is she going to react? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of an interesting situation for her to put herself in. Shannon McCormick said that they asked him if he was aware of Ozpin's story arc from when he took the character, and he said he actually was not. At that point in time, they hadn't made hard and fast decisions about when Ozpin was going to die and how he was going to reincarnate. They just knew that it was a thing that was going to happen. But they didn't know when, and they didn't know at the time it was going to be at the end of Volume 3 during the Fall of Beacon. So when they came to the point Cory just kind of came up to him and said, "So, your character's dead." And he was like, "What?" But obviously they explained to him that he's going to come back in some form or another. And Shannon also gave us a very interesting piece of information. Pyrrha was originally meant to die at the end of Volume 2. But they decided to push it back to the fall of Beacon because they wanted it to feel worse. Quote, unquote.
Oh.
And when he said that, it got me thinking about, and I know this is a little bit taboo to talk about, but Shane's letter from forever ago. He talked about how there was supposed to be a Juniper versus Raven fight in Volume 3, or end of Volume 2, somewhere in that area.
Volume 2.
And I almost wonder if that wasn't where she was supposed to die.
Yeah, but
if Raven was supposed to kill her.
Looking back on the story arc now, I'm like, that would make so little sense. Especially, like, given Raven's motivation and all of that. What the fuck would she even be attacking Team Juniper for? Why would she be at Beacon? She wouldn't. So, I'm like...
Well, I mean, we think she was at Beacon, because remember... Crow had that knowing look at that suspicious bird right before he fought Winter.
True. But I'm like, why was she even hanging around Beacon, sticking her nose into shit? She's Raven's an anomaly to me, and she's a contradiction and a bloody oxymoron all at once because she craps on about how she doesn't want any part in it and she's not interested and like you can't beat Salem, la la la. But then we look back on events like that in Volume 3 where we see this bird that is probably Raven. I'm like, if you don't care, bitch, why the fuck are you sticking your nose in it all the time? Like, you're in or you're out. Fucking make up your mind. But yeah, she's a complete oxymoron. I just noticed that my bot sub has run out. That's a bit awkward. Let me fix that for a second. Yeah, so... that's the thing. Yeah, so we got episode notes here. Cory, you've got notes, don't you? Do you want to start while I fix this up for a second?
Okay. Well, the first thing that is said in the episode is something that immediately made me frustrated. Is Yang says, Salem can't be killed. You all heard her, too, right?
I know.
It's like...
that's not what she said.
Ozpin can't destroy her. That's
yes.
That's what Jin said.
Yes.
I licked it. It's mine.
I licked it. It's mine. That's my luck. There we go. I'm just getting myself sorted. Don't mind me. Okay. Yeah. So I agree. It did annoy the crap out of me. I was like, bitch, you weren't listening. She said, okay, Ozpin. This is the thing, right? So Ozpin asked, "How do I destroy Salem?" Bitch should have worded his question better. Like, he should have said, how can Salem be destroyed? That would have been a better question to ask. Because that takes the I out of it. Because her answer was, you can't. Meaning, Oz, nah, you can't destroy her, but I'm not going to tell you how. Like, because you didn't ask. He needed to ask a better question. But... yeah, Yang clearly wasn't paying any fucking attention. She was just hearing what she wanted to hear, I think, in that instance. She was just sort of, like, either not paying attention or just twisting it to how she wanted to understand it. Salem can't be killed. Well, we don't know that for certain. I have a feeling that the Silver-Eyed Warriors are probably gonna be integral to this in some... degree. I'm sticking to my Summer Rose theory, so I'm going to stick to that. Tyson, if you're not aware, I think that Summer Rose died because she tried to kill Salem.
And, that would make a lot of sense.
Salem was like, bye, Felicia.
I still disagree with you because just the tiny bits we know about Summer, I'm like, if she was going off to kill Salem, she would have said more of a goodbye than it seems like she did.
Yeah, but the only perspective we have on that is Yang when she was like 7. If that.
And so, Yang can't even keep up with what's happening now, let alone what was back then.
Actually, Yang would have been about 5 because she said Ruby was still a toddler, so... yeah, she was very young at the time, so we don't have any perspective on that besides that. Ozpin crying sort of brought me up a bit short. I was like, Well, I kind of feel a little bit sorry for you right now because you're like, this is your whole life just sort of laid out in front of everyone. Every like shame that he has bared out for everyone to see.
Look, here's all of my trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's all of my trauma. I felt kind of bad for him in that instance because I was like, that kind of sucks a little bit for you because I bet he is very ashamed of these events and especially because of how things turned out and the fact that he decided to keep his secrets from Salem for so long and it blew up in his face, and yet he still hasn't learned from that apparently because he's still keeping secrets from people and it's still blowing up in his face. So I mean, aside from being a shady bastard and sticking his dick in like crazy, he didn't really do much wrong. Sticking his dick in crazy. Oh, I see. I've
been trying not to talk about that since you posted.
The things that people will do for love. I mean, I think he went back to Salem expecting her to be the person that she was before, and that just wasn't the case.
If she hadn't taken a dive into the pool of Grimm, she would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd probably still be a little bit of crazy in there, but not quite as much.
There was always a little bit of crazy in there, though. I mean, you gotta be a little bit of crazy to go up to the gods and be like, "Bitch, resurrect my husband." Like, who the fuck demands that of the gods?
I was gonna say that's perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's totally gonna go your way, bitch. Yeah, but again, it was her, like, people give Salem a lot of crap for all of this, and I'm like, yes, it was 90% her fault, but at the same time, she was kind of a victim of circumstance, because she was kept in a tower her whole life, probably had no social skills, no understanding of how the world works, no understanding of right and wrong and fair, and no real worldly knowledge whatsoever. So of course she went into this situation and made a bloody mess of it, of course, because she just doesn't know.
I mean, her probably idea of like right and wrong was like, once somebody comes to save me from this tower, all will be good.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I've survived my punishment, now the world is my oyster, everything will be perfect.
Exactly.
And then it didn't happen that way, and she's like, well, this isn't fair. Exactly. I served my time.
Yeah, I guess from her perspective, you know, being locked up, the standard set of morals that we would normally have just don't come into play. She has no idea how to deal with it.
She has no worldly experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Once she escapes that tower, that is like, it's like the beginning of her life, essentially. And she has to learn all of the skills that the rest of us grow up with. So, hi Grey Wolf, welcome to the stream. So, yeah, she went into this situation handicapped, as it were, because she didn't have any of this sort of the knowledge that all of us just have by default, because we learn it as we grow up and all of that. So what is my point? My point is that of course she made a mess out of the whole situation because she just didn't know how to deal with it. She didn't understand how to deal with death or the consequences of her actions. And then she has no, like, sense of fair and unfair. So she just, like, when something happens that she thinks is unjust, she just throws a tantrum like a 3-year-old because that's the level of her social skills. So the point is I woke up too early.
Yeah, I got in an argument with a person over this because they were talking about how, like, you know, she had no respect for the gods and blah, blah, blah. I know, this guy went on a lot about respecting the gods, but I was like, she doesn't have respect for anybody. Like, she hasn't really been taught respect. She's been taught fear, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that quality of respect isn't there. It hasn't been instilled in her, you know. So how does she deal with it? She just assumes that she can just get what she wants.
Exactly.
So, you can't. You got to feel a bit sorry for her there because you just don't. She doesn't have, as I said, that moral compass. She doesn't understand the what's right and wrong. So she's just assuming if I want it, I can have it.
Yeah, and of course we don't know all of the circumstances surrounding her and her cruel father. But if there's anything like Jacques Schnee, I'm not surprised she was the way she was. So, because, you know, she did kind of remind me of Weiss a little bit in the beginning. But obviously Weiss has, some semblance of social skills.
Weiss had an older sister looking out for her.
That's true. So people give Salem a lot of shit for all of this, but I'm like, she's not the only one to blame here. And I've gotten into so many arguments with people in comments on my reaction this week because everybody is adamant that Ozpin is not in the wrong. I'm like, excuse me, yes he is.
Wow.
Okay? Everybody
is that really
so adamant that I'm seeing the hashtag going around Ozpin did nothing wrong. And I'm like,
are you serious?
Were you
wow.
even fucking paying attention? Ozpin did plenty wrong, alright? Let's not exempt him from blame here, because he is almost as much to blame as Salem at this point. In the beginning, perhaps he wasn't, but now, definitely.
Yeah, he's not responsible for the humanity ending the first time, but he certainly is responsible for quite a lot of things that happened after that.
Yeah, it was what he decided to do once he came back. The minute that he came back, like God of Light warned him. He said, where you seek comfort, you will only find pain. Don't go back to Salem. She's not who you remember her to be. And, of course, he fucking ignores that because, idiot. And it goes crawling straight back to his woman and everything's fine for a while. But the fact that he chose to keep his task and the relics to himself was their undoing, eventually. And it would have been maybe not so bad if he kept it to himself for a little bit, but the fact that he kept it to himself for years, long enough for them to have 4 children, come on. Seriously. Dude. How are you supposed to have, a relationship with somebody? Just, for fuck's sake, tell people the truth. I'm so annoyed at Ozpin. He keeps keeping all this shit to himself. And I'm like, this event alone, this first time that you kept this to yourself from someone and it went so wrong and it blew up in your face, should have taught you not to ever do this again. Why are you making the same mistakes that you've been making apparently for hundreds of years, probably?
I was going to say, it's a very dangerous quality for him to have. Just not being able to be honest means that, once it's come out, that's why she exploded.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, no. And as you said, he hasn't learnt anything.
Grey Wolf says sex might have been that good. Who knows? I doubt it. So, I don't want to think about Ozpin and Salem. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so,
I'm going to say what I said again last week. We're not talking about procreation.
No, please, let's not. Where it involves Salem and Ozpin, we are not discussing procreation. Thank you very much. Still say they're the maidens, but whatever. Soft goths, according to Arnold Murder, are dangerous. Yes. Salem was very much in her soft goth phase there. Yeah, so what the fuck was I talking about? Ozpin keeping secrets, yeah, it pisses me off. Me the butt breath, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the new Polly. Yeah, so Ozpin's just ticking me off in general because he's just remaking all of the mistakes that we just saw him make in the very beginning. I'm like, what are you doing? Literally, here is all of your mistakes laid out in front of you. This is where everything went wrong for you. And you're doing it again now. And you've probably done it several times over the last 80 years or so. What are you doing?
But do you think it's them trying to lead into maybe Ozpin actually finally getting some level of redemption and finally learning a lesson?
I definitely think so. I think this is the start of Ozpin having to make up for all of the fucking lying that he's done.
Because of his relationship with, Ruby and the rest of the team, and I think that's where it's maybe this is different this time.
It better be different. Fucking better be.
Yeah, well, like we find out in this episode, he has no plan to stop Salem.
Exactly.
What's the one thing he hasn't done this whole goddamn time? Trust anybody.
Exactly.
Maybe that's the piece he needs to finally, stop Salem, is he just needs to be here's everything, people. Do what you will with this information. I trust you.
It has me wondering about Leo a little bit more now, because I'm like, at some point, Leo was somebody Ozpin trusted, and he went off the deep end. I wonder how that all happened, because Ozpin described it as Salem found him, but he doesn't actually know what happened. So I
have a feeling it's a very similar thing to what happened to Raven. Is
probably.
He just eventually pieced together all of our actions, all the things we are doing is amounting to nothing. And realizing Oz has no plan. He doesn't have a plan to defeat Salem. The fight is hopeless.
Yeah, exactly. And he was a coward.
And he's the cowardly lion,
yeah,
so he wanted to pick the winning side.
Exactly. Trust is key. Yes, Pishin. Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, Oz is just... Ugh. He's just going about everything the wrong way. And you would think he would have learned from these mistakes after all this time, but I have a feeling that there's a lot of fear that holds him back as well, because he has been betrayed by people he trusted. But then there's the Crow thing. So Crow, I could tell from chapter 2, I was like, Crow's not aware of any of this. He doesn't know any of this. He doesn't know about what the relic does. He doesn't know that Salem can't be defeated. He doesn't know any of this. This is all news to him, as it is to the girls. And I'm like, the fact that Oz kept all of this from Crow, I'm like, what are you doing, Ozpin? Like, if there is one person in Ozpin's little circle of people that he did not want to piss off, it is Crow. Crow will fucking end you. Like, and we saw that here, like, he just straight up fucking punches him. And he's pissed. I was like, that actually really shocked me when I was watching the episode. I knew he was going to be like angry, but I did not think that he was going to go to that extreme. Because I'm like, that's Oscar's face. Stop.
I was about to say, I can't watch that without cringing every time.
I know, it's so cringe. I just realized I've got a mirror sitting here and I can see myself in it, and that's really weird. Yeah, I'm like, that's not, stop hurting the boy. I'm like, it's not his fault. But what Crow said here was really interesting to me. I've got it quoted here. He said, "No one wanted me. I was cursed. I gave my life to you because you gave me a place in this world. I thought I was finally doing some good. Meeting you was the worst luck of my life."
Yeah.
That's harsh.
I was going to say.
Harsh.
That was really harsh. Warranted and justified, but harsh.
Oh, it still hits home. Like, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, like, Crow is to Ozpin what Tyrion is to Salem.
Exactly.
Is basically like, and that's why it's like, why is he not the one person you can trust? He literally worships the floor you walk on.
It surprises me so much that Crow didn't know any of this. I'm like, Oz, why didn't you tell him? What's wrong with you? Like, goodness knows how long Crow has been sticking his neck out and risking his life for Oz, and he didn't know any of this.
I was going to say, it's surprising he doesn't. It's surprising he didn't even know like anything. Like, even elements you would thought he would have known, even if he didn't know the full story. But he knew nothing.
Yeah, it's really shocking that Ozpin kept all of this from Crow, because I'm like, he was in his inner circle. Now I'm like, well, Glinda and Ironwood must not have known any of this either. They must have known as much as Crow knows, because if he didn't trust Crow with it, there's no fucking way he trusted Ironwood with it. So yeah, I'm just shocked that Ozpin kept that from Crow, and I'm like, after everything Crow has fucking done for you, like, he has a family and he's been out there risking his life for probably decades, and you haven't even fucking informed him on everything. I'm like, I'm so pissed off at Ozpin. I'm like, that is a dick fucking move, bro. Seriously. But, you know, what's done is done. Oz is a coward, dashes off, of course. So Yang in this scene is obviously pissed. She's justified in being pissed. She says...
Did you see the thing going around where people talking about that this is the first time Yang swore?
What? People are not saying that.
I saw people saying that after the episode came out, and I was like, did you forget her screaming "damn it" at Raven last volume?
Damn it's more of a swear than bastard, I would say.
I was going to say.
Oh, why do people not pay attention? It's so annoying. Yes, Yang has sworn before in Volume 4, Chapter 4.
Volume 5.
She said, "Send me to Crow, damn it." Volume 5, Chapter 4, sorry. Volume 4. Volume 5, Chapter 4. She said, "Send me to Crow, damn it." But yeah, her screaming "that bastard" here when referring to Ozpin, I was like, ooh, Yang is not happy. Yeah, she's definitely... We know that she's got some anger problems since certain events occurred, but she, yeah, rinse your mouth out with soap, Yang. Jesus. I feel so sorry for Oscar in this scene because he's just like, oh, I hate this, I want it to stop. And I'm like, I know, my baby. I know, but it's going to be okay. I'm like, I feel so bad for him. Because I'm like, he's just been chucked in this situation and he does not know what to do with it. And like, now he's found all of this out that like, he's got this massive task that he has to accomplish. This huge burden on his shoulders. And oh, by the way, it's impossible and you can't do it. Like, what? Come on! Freak OTRT, thank you for the lurk.
Yeah. The thing that would make that even worse is he's had Ozma's voice in his head for, you know, like months now. Like this person who's telling him he has this destiny and all this stuff, like fueling him to keep moving forward. And now, like, he finds out all this terribly crushing stuff, and Ozma locks himself away.
Yeah.
And he's literally just has to deal with it. And he's a 14-year-old boy.
I was going to say, he's not being given
Poor
a choice.
thing.
I can't imagine what that does to someone's brain. Like,
if I was Oscar too, I'd be pissed off that Oz kept this from him the whole time.
I know, like, that too.
He's the one who has to now, like, it's his body and his mind that's on the line here. Like, and I'm wondering about, again, how, like, Ozpin's, merging into different souls works, and like Oscar's line, I'm just going to be another one of his lives, aren't I, later in the episode. And I'm like, I have a feeling that eventually Oscar is just going to disappear and he's just going to become Ozma, and he just won't exist anymore, which is like really sad because I really like Oscar and he's a fucking kid, goddammit. And, like, he didn't get a say in any of this, and I feel so awful for him all the time. And I hate Kirby for making me like this boy so much, because I'm like, I just feel so fucking bad for you right now. Like, I can't even imagine being in your shoes. This is not fair. Like, you're a teenager. Marie...
a bit of a tangent, but, Shannon brought this up on the, Ruby Rewind, but... why has Ozma never reincarnated into a girl that we know of?
Why has he never reincarnated to a woman?
Because I think back to what the God of Light said last episode, and he said you will be reincarnated, or Ozpin said it when he was talking to Oscar in Volume 4, is that he's reincarnated into the body of a like-minded soul.
Yeah.
But never specified that it had to be a dude.
Yeah, but then in the story we only saw men that he had reincarnated into. I need to take off my jacket, it's hot in here. So yeah, and like they were saying that, well, maybe he has and we just haven't seen it, but I'm like, why isn't that a detail they would include in this story section? But, I mean, it's a small thing that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, it makes sense why he would only reincarnate into men, because he was one. But at the same time, I'm like, there's no reason why he couldn't reincarnate into women.
I know. Ruby seems like a great candidate for that.
Wait, Ruby as in Ruby, or... as in
Ruby as in Ruby.
Ruby Rose?
Ruby Rose. Our sweet silver-eyed warrior.
Jesus Christ!
Do you not think
don't even entertain the thought. Jesus.
Well, but she has all the characteristics that they said were Ozma embodied.
Don't even go there. Jesus Christ.
You're broken up.
Fucking hell. I don't even want to think about Ozpin living in Ruby's head and eventually taking over and controlling her body. That is just, no.
No.
Yeah,
you're right.
it's
I
weird.
take it back. I hate this idea.
Yes, it's weird when you put it like that. Yes. I hate that. We can't really trust anything Ozpin said up until now. Exactly. I mean, the only thing that we know about Ozpin that we can trust is Jin's story, because that's how it happened. That's all historical fact. And
yeah, and even the God of Light never specified that it would be men that he was always bonded with.
No. Yeah, Maria Calavera. I freaking love this character, and she hasn't even done anything yet. I'm like, she's still like...
We saw her in episode 1, and we were like, I love her.
Yeah. she said 2 words at the end of episode 1, and we were like, yes, bitch. So, like, I'm just like, Maria's standing off to the sidelines watching all of this unfold. I can't imagine what she's thinking about any of this. But she just sort of steps up to the plate because she can see that everybody else is having a really hard time with what's going on. And she's like, alright, bitches, listen up. No buts. We're gonna get our asses moving out of the snow because I'll be damned if I've lived this long just to die out here in the cold. Like...
She's like that, but she's that typical, like, endearing grandmother figure, yes. But then, like, the other side of it, she's so sassy. Like, she's so sassy. Like...
I freaking love her so much. Maria for best grandma, exactly. Beardy, thank you for the lurk. This part of the scene here where they're all getting their shit from the train, the score that was playing was actually the new theme, Rising, and it's the first, I think it's the first time we've heard it in score form, this volume. And it was very sad as well. So I was like, but the intro is so, like, happy and stuff. You can't do that to that. That's not cool. But I did like that was playing there. And then Oscar's line about, I'm just going to be another one of his lives, aren't I? And Ruby, of course, being Ruby, is trying to, like, reassure him, like, no, you're your own person. You know, you can... And then Crow fucking comes along. Don't lie to him, Ruby. We're better than that.
Yeah, drinking away.
Yeah. Fucking Crow. Like, oh my gosh. I understand him so much, but at the same time, I'm like, put your fucking flask away, you piece of shit. Like,
and it was that
get your head in the game.
It was probably the only moment where I was a little bit frustrated with Crow going, you do realise that poor Oscar is, like, dealing with this and you're still holding on to the fact that, you know, Ozpin's the issue here. Yeah. Like, and it's like, you just punched him. Now you're just telling him, oh, you're screwed. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, I even noticed, like, at the end of the episode, when they're at the farm and he's holding the gate open for everybody, when Oscar walks through, he moves his head in a way to avoid looking at Oscar. Like, he can't even bring himself to look at him. And but even in this moment, when he's saying, don't lie to him, Ruby, he refuses to look at Oscar.
Yeah.
But do you think that's guilt for what he already is doing to Oscar, or is it like that sense of guilt? I feel sorry for Oscar. I can't look at him, but I'm also pissed off with Ozpin. You know what I mean?
Like, it's more pissed off with Ozpin at this point. I think it's more that he's like, I don't even want to, like, acknowledge you right now because I'm just so distraught over what's going on. Yeah, I think it's more pissed off at this stage.
He's just blinded with rage.
We talked about this last volume as well, though, but Crow also seems to see Oscar more as Ozpin. Like, the others are always like Oscar, and he's like Oz. Yeah. Like, he addresses Ozpin, not Oscar, very much.
Yeah. And he also calls him Kid. He doesn't call him Oscar. So, like... and true. I'm of the mind that Crow... This is not the first time that Crow has encountered Ozpin reincarnating as well, because he did seem to know a lot about it. I'm like... How's he so comfortable with this, is my question, if he hasn't witnessed it before. I'm like, I don't understand why Crow is so... If this is the first time that Ozpin's actually reincarnated during Crow's lifetime, I'm like, how are you so comfortable? But then, at the same time, Ozpin was already headmaster when Crow went to be him, so that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, he was the youngest headmaster in history, according to Weiss, and he was already headmaster. I feel like he maybe just... That was the one piece of information that he was, like, brutally honest with everybody about, was how he reincarnated and his, like... Because he also, as we saw last episode, he has a protocol in place for when he reincarnates.
Yeah.
So he could have just been like, okay, this is exactly what you're going to do. And that's why he's so comfortable.
Yeah, but I'm like, why is Crow so, like, just casual about the fact that, oh yeah, he reincarnates, you know, that's fine. He behaves like he's seen it before, but he can't have seen it before. So,
yeah.
I'm like...
Maybe he's just had 20 years to get used to the concept.
I don't know. I don't understand. But, yeah, Crow's just like, he needs to... Oscar's gonna snap. It's gonna happen. He's gonna snap, and he's gonna lose it, and Crow's probably gonna be the target. So, Not that I'd be too worried about Crow's safety in that instance. I'd be more worried about Oscar's. But, like, at the same time, give the kid a fucking break. Jesus Christ.
I know. Grandma, give him a cup of tea. Sit the poor boy
Somebody
down.
make him a cup of tea and get him a warm blanket because the boy's gonna snap. Alright? He's dealing with a lot of shit right now. I mean, like, everybody's dealing with the same shit right now, but everybody else is forgetting that this is all on Oscar's shoulders. Oscar?
Yeah.
Oscar's shoulders. I can't speak. This is all on his shoulders. Like, he's seen all of this and gone, I have to do all of this, and it's impossible. I can't do it. And, like, everyone else is forgetting that. I'm like, somebody give him a hug. Like, oh my gosh, poor boy.
Yeah, like, he's already lost so much agency of his body, and now to learn that he's basically giving up this agency for nothing, it has to be devastating.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He's gonna snap. I reckon he's... I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he just takes off. And he's like, nope, fuck this shit, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, they wake up at the end of the next episode and they're like, where's Oscar?
Yeah. I wouldn't be fucking surprised. I honestly wouldn't. And I wouldn't blame him. I'd be like, yeah, okay. Run for the fucking hills. Jesus. He's still stuck with Oz no matter what, though. It's the thing.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a lot of choice.
I mean, he's at this stage, Oz has just disappeared, if you know what I mean, like locked himself away. So
at least he
it's
gets
like,
some peace and quiet for a little while. Jeez.
The voices have gone silent.
The voice has gone silent, finally. So maybe he'll be able to think straight for a little bit.
They finally put him on medication.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost a poetic comment on mental health. Like, it really is. I mean, you know, like...
Yeah, it is. I mean, now that, like, all of this is out in the open and Team Ruby and Crow are aware of this, I'm almost like, maybe Ozpin should just fuck off and leave them to it. Because, like, he's just making everything worse. Like, clearly everything he does touches turns to dust. So, like...
I was going to say, at this stage, what is he contributing?
Exactly.
Like, they've now been given all the information that they're probably going to need at this point.
Yeah.
So what is he doing?
I don't know. What good is he at this point? Like, he's been at this for presumably hundreds of years and hasn't managed to do it yet. Hand the torch over. Let somebody else take over. Yeah. Like, you're not doing it right, clearly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as they talked about during Salem's part, is they do kind of need Oz to convince Ironwood of, you know, everything.
Well, that's
Open
the
your
thing.
borders, stop being a dick.
Yeah, exactly. So what's going to happen now with Oz being like, he's gone, he's not in the picture for now. Like, when they get there, what are they going to do? Ironwood's going to go, well, I don't understand what's going on. Go away.
I think by the time they get there, Oz will be back.
Yeah, he can't hide forever.
Yeah.
He's going to come out sometime.
I guess it could be an interesting, you know, if it does go down that path of how are they going to handle the fact that they'll get there and be basically at the gates and not being let in.
I reckon there's...
Weiss will kick her way in. She'll be like, I have an important business.
Excuse
Let me in.
How dare you? Yeah. So, I mean, I reckon there's a couple ways we could see Oz the next time we see Oz. If Oscar is in danger and Oz needs to protect him, then that's one way that he might jump out of his little isolation box wherever he is.
But that has me so worried is like if Oscar gets to that point where he's like, he's not coming back, I'll put myself in, like, it's almost going to be like, I'm about to...
I know, I'm really
It's almost like Bella in New Moon when she's like throwing herself off cliffs to try to get Edward to come back.
Jesus Christ, what an analogy to make.
But isn't it kind of like he's going to start throwing himself like at Beowulfs and stuff, like, Oz, save me.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that desperate for Oz to come back.
Who knows? He might eventually get there.
I think he might welcome the respite.
I was going to say, but I guess from the other perspective, like, it's sad that if it comes to that point, that the only reason that Oscar will survive is Oz's own self-preservation. Like, and that's really sad to think. Once again, he's just I don't want to sound rude, but a meat sack.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a body, and it's like that's so bad. Like,
it's awful. It's awful, and I'm like, he's a person. He's just a kid, and like, literally, his body and his mind are not his anymore. And it's like, how do you even deal with that as a 14-year-old kid?
Well, that's it. Yeah, and that's exactly
freezing to death as well.
Exactly.
No, they're not going to. No, that's not happening.
Maria's main story. So yeah, the villains. Finally, we're back. I think it's really interesting to come back to the villains after having all of this story dump go on, and now knowing everything that we know. So now we know that the land that Salem inhabits is the land of darkness, where the god of darkness used to inhabit this land, and this is where the Grimm come from, and this is where they were created by the god of darkness. So we now know what this place is, and we also know it is on Remnant. For sure, we know it's on Remnant. Before, the only reference we had to assume it was on Remnant was that the moon was in the sky. But, like, we know now where it is.
Yeah. People always wondered how they got there.
Yeah.
Like, is there some kind of weird Grimm portals that they take, or what? But now we know it's an airship.
It's just
Which, by the way,
there.
who was flying the airship?
I don't know. Some guy.
Hazel, Emerald, and Mercury all got off
it
while it was still kind of moving.
I don't know.
Autopilot.
It was the seer.
Autopilot?
Some sort of autopilot.
It was Neo.
It was the seer Grimm.
It was Neo.
It was Neo.
Yeah, so I heard an interesting theory, actually. Two of the continents, I can't remember their names, but two of the continents are dragon-shaped. Solitas and...
I can never remember the other one.
The one that Veil's on.
Yeah.
Mantle. Is it Mantle?
Nope. Mantle's Atlas.
No, Mantle's Atlas. Solitas and the other one.
And Mantle's not even the name of the that was the name of the kingdom.
Heard a fun theory that a Geist possessed the steering wheel. Okay. Alright. What about the throttle? Maybe the Geist possessed the ship. Who fucking knows? Yeah, I had an interesting theory that Solitas, the two dragon-shaped continents, they look sort of like the dragon forms of the gods. Sort of. I mean, vaguely. Sanus! Thank you! Sanus. Sanus and Solitas, the two dragon-shaped continents, they each have the head of the dragon. And somebody, I heard a theory, I don't remember who it was, said that perhaps the lands of light and darkness are at the head of each of those dragons, and that's where they are on the actual map. That's
well, people have always had that theory that the Western dragon was where Salem's place was anyway, because it was dragon shaped and weird, and it also we now like. As Pisham pointed out, that continent doesn't have a name, so it would make sense if that's where Salem was located.
Yeah, the one way off to the west. Yeah.
Although it still begs the. Oh wait, I was just about to say, it still begs the question: how did Salem walk there before humanity ended? But maybe all the it used to be Pangea, and then all the moon chunks separated it.
The moon chunks. I mean, we didn't see a map in the story anywhere, so we don't know if that's a possibility. The moon chunks.
I was going to say, that's a great way to describe moon chunks.
Well, the moon chunks, when they destroyed the planet. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, so the Land of Darkness is where she sort of lives. I want to know about the castle that she lives in. Did she build it? Like, get your moon chunks here.
She's Elsa. She made it out of her magic.
It's like peanuts.
I was about to say, I'm picturing like a vendor selling them. Get your moon chunks here.
I was going to say that Salem gave me really Elsa-y vibes in this episode.
Oh, really?
With, like, the Grimm arms and, like, it just, like, the whole thing reminds me of Frozen, and I fucking hate that, because I hate that movie. But,
Just let it go, it's fine. Sorry.
I fucking hate you.
In summer.
Get out of the podcast. Listen, Olaf gets a free pass. Olaf always gets a free pass. Salem being threatening on screen. Yeah, we'll get to that, Pishin, don't worry. The first note I've got about this scene is that Merc's eyebrows are still fucked.
Yeah.
So it's the first thing that I noticed.
Just can't get them right.
Mercury's eyebrows are fucked, and they're never going to be fixed. Tyrion is back, fucking finally. He's only been marinating for an entire volume and a bit.
Volume and a half.
Volume and a half, yeah, probably more like. So yeah, I'm super excited to see Tyrion, and we saw his tail finally. I can't believe nobody's making a fuss about his tail, because that's kind of really cool.
But it's just got a cap on it. Like,
well, I mean,
it's not
half
done
of his
yet.
tail got removed, so. I mean, is it not done, or is that just the way that it looks?
No, it definitely looked like it's not done.
You think?
Yeah, it definitely kind of looked like something where, like, I don't know, like, think with when Yang didn't have her arm on and she's had that little thing on.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
like, we're just put this here to keep it from, like, you continuously bleeding. But
that would be nice.
I mean,
well,
there's at least a
fix
small
ya.
section of his tail that has to be a prosthetic now. Because Ruby didn't cut the whole tail off, obviously. She just cut a piece of it off. So, yeah, that's
Plus,
interesting.
everybody's
I didn't
just
think
waiting
about
for him
it
to
that
get a
way.
Deathstalker stinger.
Ooh, that would be exciting. That would be very exciting. Now I want that to happen. Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. I didn't think about it like that. But I've missed Tyrion. My god, I love him so much. He's such an awesome villain. This whole scene was so deliciously creepy. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, get out of Emerald's face, because don't hurt my girl. Emerald is still my best girl, so get the fuck out of her face. I'm like, Mercury. Yeah.
Even the bit like just him like brushing up against the like her weapons and like cutting his cheek. It's like, oh god, there's just that moment of like, ugh.
Bartek New, thank you for the host.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he's super fucking creepy. I love him so much.
I just really liked that scene because it kind of reminds you that like aura is something that they have to turn on and stuff, and like because he was able to like willingly cut himself and then didn't heal up instantly, and like
yeah,
he's just that extra.
Pishin, Josh Grelly pulling another beautiful performance. This is really interesting for me to watch a new Tyrion scene after having met Josh Grelly, because Josh Grelly is the kindest, nicest, bubbliest, happiest human being I have possibly ever had the pleasure of meeting. And Tyrion is so insane. I'm like, and now I'm watching this Tyrion scene, I'm like, how does he do that? But at the same time, I'm like, I saw Josh doing that in real life. Like when we went up to meet him at the signing table, he was literally just being Tyrion. Just like he was just transitioning from himself to Tyrion and like doing Tyrion's laugh and saying Tyrion's lines and being creepy. Because I told him Tyrion was my favorite character, favorite villain, and that made him really excited. But yeah, he was just like being Tyrion casually, and I was like, okay, sure, this human being is also Tyrion. That's the thing. But like, he's so not Tyrion in real life that I'm like, how does he do it? I'm like, I'm so confused by this man and his ability to be a really, really creepy villain. But yeah, absolutely amazing performance.
You find people like that are good at playing the complete opposite to their personalities. Because another person who I was like that with was Anna Hullum. Is like the sweetest person I've ever met.
She's
and
so
then you
sweet.
see her play Raven, and it's like, holy hell.
Yeah, Anna Hullum is the opposite of a selfish bitch, but Raven is the embodiment of a selfish bitch. I'm like,
how do you
Jesus,
switch that
was
on?
that Java?
That was Java.
That was so loud. That was the loudest bark ever. Oh my gosh. Somebody wants their breakfast. Dinner? I don't know. What time is it?
Dinner. It's 4 p.m.
Listen, it's 9:30 a.m. for me. Leave me alone. So, I've got a note here about Mercury protecting Emerald when Tyrion was getting up in her business. He's just like, back off. We'd never really seen much of a relationship between Mercury and Emerald before.
We haven't seen like any of it since Volume 3.
No.
Like, they were so antagonistic towards each other back then.
That's the thing, and I'm like, ugh, I don't know if these two even like give a shit about each other, but clearly they do. And I feel like, well, obviously a lot of what binds them together was Cinder. So now, according, like, as far as they know, Cinder is gone, so they're all each other has kind of thing. Yeah, so the scene with Salem, oh my gosh. Salem was so scary in this scene.
Absolutely.
I was like, okay, after everything I've just learned, I'm terrified of you. Like, seriously, I'm terrified.
I mean, just learning that she has actual magic and, like, the way we watched her just destroy a Nevermore with her hands. It's like, okay, whatever you say, man.
I am fucking terrified of her now.
Yeah, even the simple thing of like when she like slides that whole table out the way, it's like, holy hell, she's just like, don't mess with it. Don't cross it.
Yeah. And it's like, they were talking about this on the rewind, but in Jen's performance, it's all like the subtleties of like the calm sort of disapproval into the absolutely erupting anger and back into the calm disapproval. I'm like,
it's almost split personality, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
I love the first line that she says is she's like, "Tell me how it is that you failed so spectacularly." I'm like,
the way that.
In my reaction, I burst out laughing because I was like, A, that's hilarious, and B, I'm really nervous right now.
I was gonna say, but she has you on the edge of the on your seat.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
For that first sentence, like it's like, oh my god, she's gonna snap.
I mean, especially just with how much she was touching Emerald throughout this whole scene. I was literally just waiting for her to just like, and Emerald was dead. I was expecting. I was honestly kind of waiting for something.
I was waiting
for snap.
I was waiting for someone to die. I honestly was.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, now we know everything we know about Salem. She could literally snap her fingers and everyone in that room will be dead. If she wanted to, probably. I mean, she's not the god of darkness, exactly, but, Jen's voice performance as Salem. She's the perfect voice for Salem. I'm so happy they got Jen to do Salem. Because I'm like... I mean, she's been there since the beginning. That's the crazy thing. Jen has been voicing Salem since Volume 1, before we even knew who Salem was. And she is such a huge voice actor. Like, she played Cortana for fuck's sake. And, like, she's been in just about everything ever. So, I'm like, she's this massive voice actress, and she's been in it since Volume 1, and she just... Salem... She is Salem, and Salem is her. There's no one else who could voice Salem that well. She's just perfect for that role. Her voice just gives me the chills, and I fucking love it. And the strange thing is, when I see Salem on screen, I don't hear Cortana, and that's really interesting to me because their voice is exactly the same. It's just that she's being really creepy, and in the Halo games, we saw moments where Cortana herself was being really creepy. But I'm like, this woman's voice is so iconically Cortana to me as somebody who's spent a lot of their life playing Halo games. But when I see Salem, I don't hear Cortana, and I'm like... I guess
that comes down to two things. It's the quality of, obviously, the show itself, and then on the other side of things, it's the fact that she makes you believe she's that character.
Exactly, yeah. I'm like, that's how good she is that I don't hear this other very iconic character that I've heard her voicing for years and years and years, like my whole life, basically. And I just see Salem, and I believe that she's Salem. So, yeah, she's fucking amazing. Yeah, the table flip was interesting. I wasn't sure about the animation of the table flip. I felt like the table was there and suddenly it was here. There was no like in between stage.
Yeah, but I feel like they did that on purpose because there was so much that they had to like get out of the way that they did.
I was gonna say,
I did watch that shot quite a few times just because I was like, it did look weird. But like they had to also. Like, before that shot even started, like, they already had to have the chairs on the ground. They had to have Tyrion on the ground, like...
Yeah.
So it was kind of just became a thing where they're like, we needed to, like, visually represent her throwing the table, but we had to do it so fast that you couldn't, like, see much.
But what happened was that it ended up looking really strange. Because suddenly the table is over here, and we've got no reference for, like, okay, well, in the very last shot that we saw, it was here. Why is it here now? Like, and all we see is Salem going, that's all we get. And I'm like, okay, well, I understand that she flipped the table, but I didn't see it. Like, I understand that that's what happened, but, okay. Tyrion's face when he's lying on the ground here as Salem's like charging towards the camera, I'm like, oh boy. Tyrion looks frightened. Like, the grim arms were really interesting. She should.
Well, also in that, did you notice how in that scene Watts backed away a bunch as well?
Yeah, like, I was sort of vaguely looking at him, but I was more focused on Tyrion in that scene. But Watts is just...
like he was trying to get away from Salem is kind of what he was doing.
Well, for me, like, Watts is just kind of there. He's just, a person that's there all the time, and I don't give him a second thought ever. He's just kind of there. But Tyrion, I'm always really focused on Tyrion, because he's just so interesting to me. But Salem, the way she sort of like flicked her fingers up and the grim arms just kind of came out of the floor, I'm like, okay, how exactly is she controlling the Grim? Is it because she is one, or like? I guess the lines are so blurred at the moment with that. We don't really know. Yeah, but it was an intense moment. Like, it was like, whoa, okay, we don't know what she's capable of, really. Yeah. Like, we know she's dangerous and we know she's got power, to do stuff. But this was a real moment of like, okay, we actually don't know what she's capable of doing. We actually don't know the half of what she could potentially do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, as we saw last episode, that like the God of Darkness had some semblance of control over the Grimm, obviously, because he created them. But like, what if Salem hasn't found a way to kind of keep some of that as well? And like, also, what if she's even like created Grimm? Because we saw that last episode she had like her crystal ball that she would like watch Grim stuff through. Yeah, but it wasn't a seer Grim then. It was just like a crystal ball. Then now she has the seer Grim. So like, did she make the seer Grim?
Yeah, that's a good question. And who knows? Who knows what's possible? Pishin can't decide if it's a new Grim in the minds of the set. Yeah, okay. So the hands from the intro and the hands that we see in this scene. So, I'm terrified now that because we saw in the intro, oh my god, seriously.
I got it.
Nah, it's alright, I got it. Everybody ban him!
I was about to say my hand was on the mouse.
If you want boobs, go to Pornhub. This is fucking Twitch. What the fuck was I saying? Yeah, the hands. So I'm terrified now because we've seen these hands reaching for Crow and attacking Ruby in the intro, and now they've been shown in this scene. I'm like, oh my god, I'm terrified now. I'm like, are they okay? I'm like, is it a giant monster in a cave, or are those actually the Salem hands and everything's about to go really badly for Crow and Ruby? I'm like, oh shit, man. I'm so scared. Oh, I'm so scared for them.
I was going to say, it's very much a foreshadowing sort of situation. It's like, it's going to be an awkward scene if it is that.
I've just got, my next note is don't hurt Emerald. Because I'm like, she is getting right up in Emerald's business, and Emerald looks so scared, and I'm like, and then she puts her hand on Emerald's shoulder, and Emerald physically cringes away from her, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, I just imagine Salem being really cold, like, to the touch.
Well, the other thing about it is, like, she grabs her, and then Emerald cringes, and she grips her then.
Yeah, and she tightens her grip a little. And I'm like, ugh.
She's like, you're staying here.
And I just imagine Salem's skin being, like, really cold to the touch and just, like, giving you a very unpleasant feeling. Like, I got secondhand cringe watching that scene.
It was almost a moment of her not trying to react, but because it was so cringy for her, she reacted.
She
reacted
what I mean? Anyway, despite herself.
And then she cringed again because she's like, "Oh God, I'm reacting. What's Salem gonna do?" Like, so it would have been just that moment of like, "Oh God," So,
Volume 5 notes were saying the Salem hallucination from Emerald was her fear of Salem. Yeah. So, probably, very likely. I mean, she's scared.
Well, I mean, we talked about this oh no, we didn't talk about this.
We didn't really talk about this.
We didn't do a podcast for that episode.
Oh, fuck, no, we didn't.
I remember my thought at the time was that, because it was Emerald realizing that their mission had failed, and she's literally started to have a panic attack about,
now she's God,
oh fuck, going to kill us.
We have to go back to Salem and tell her that we fucked up. And, like, I would be scared too. I mean, to be fair, this actually went a lot better than I thought it was going to go for these guys. I was like, Salem's going to destroy you. You are all dead. But it didn't happen. Because Salem's smarter than that.
Throw you all out the window.
Salem's smarter than that. That's the thing. She knows that she needs people. She cannot do this just herself. She needs...
she's playing a game.
People. Yeah.
She's playing a game of chess. Like, it's really obvious. She knows when she needs to play her pieces, and if she doesn't need a piece, she will destroy it.
And her line about, like, Cinder must be left to toil in her isolation until she redeems herself. I'm like, that's a really interesting line to me, because Salem knows that she needs every single one of these people. She needs the Fall Maiden. And she's not going to just throw people away for the sake of, like, I'm angry, you're dead now. Like, she doesn't do that. The only time she ever has is Leo, but he'd outlived his usefulness at that point.
Yeah.
So, and that wasn't in anger either. That was just like, she was like, ugh, I'm done with you. Goodbye. Like,
yeah, and that's a dangerous mentality with her.
Yeah.
That's, that just shows like, oh well, done with you.
Hasta la vista.
It's like she could do that at any stage.
Yeah, and that's why I was scared. I was like, I'm scared for Hazel, I'm scared for Emerald in this scene, I'm scared for everyone. And even, like, Watts had the gall to fucking open his mouth about Cinder, and I'm like, dude, shut your goddamn mouth.
Oh, I was going to say.
I know, but it was so nice to see him just, like, crawl back into his skin.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
But the second she, like, looks at him with, like, that look, that, like, you know the look, and he's like, sorry. My bad.
He's like, yes, sorry, ma'am. Whatever
Sorry,
you say,
ma'am. Whatever you
Please
say,
don't hurt
yes.
me, ma'am.
I'll shut up now. When I was reacting to it, I was like, literally, like, shut your mouth, Watts. Why are you talking right now? Like, don't say anything. What the fuck? Do you want to die? Bitch will kill you. Yeah, so they're all expendable, but to a point. Is the thing. She's not gonna kill them needlessly when she still has use for them. Yeah, and it calls back to Raven's line in Volume 5, Salem only uses people until they are no longer useful. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Leo outlived his usefulness, and these people haven't yet, so...
Yeah, that's also why I was honestly kind of scared for Hazel in this episode, because it's like, the others, we kind of see, like, somewhat of, like, why they are useful and stuff, but Hazel's always kind of been one of those people I'm like, I don't really get you. So I was kind of like... He
is extremely powerful, though.
Yeah.
As we saw.
But I was just like, well, maybe he's the one that just she's going to make an example of, because, like, Emerald and Mercury still have, like, youth and can be, like, molded to what she needs.
She's lost her Full Maiden for the time being, so Hazel is her tank now. So, like, it would be a waste, I think. And I think that was the mentality that she had, is that I can't really kill him because it would be a waste.
It'll make you wonder when Cinder obviously does come back into the fold, what will happen to Hazel. Maybe he will
very bad things. And obviously, like, she was trying to make the point that actually this isn't Hazel's fault. It's Cinder's. So fuck Cinder. She can just go do her own thing for a bit. And of course, Cinder has learned nothing from this whole experience. So I don't think she's going to be redeeming herself anytime soon. Has the pain nullification. Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty powerful tool to have. Did anybody else notice that Salem's symbol was on the floor under Hazel, where the Grim Arms popped out of the floor? Her symbol was there. The bright red symbol. I didn't notice that until I watched it yesterday. So that's interesting. I don't know what it means, but it's interesting.
Yeah. It's like, okay, your magic is kind of symbolized.
I don't know. I don't understand how Salem works, and I'm not going to ask questions.
I know. I'm already...
I don't want to fucking find out. I don't want to find out how she works. She mentioned the sword under Shade Academy. So there were 2 swords that were relics, weren't there? Were they both swords?
No, one was a spear.
One was a spear.
Or Larissa called it a wand, but I think it's a spear.
I'm going to take a stab and say that the sword under Shade Academy is the relic of destruction.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. That's the destruction one.
Yeah.
Because we know that... we already know that Shade's relic is the one of destruction, and then their symbol was the sword. So when we saw the sword last week, people were like, and there's the sword of destruction. Yeah.
It's nice to hear her say it, though. Like, this is our next goal. The sword under Shade Academy. That's where we're going next. And I'm like, don't you fucking dare, because Team Sun's headed to Shade Academy. And don't... Leave them alone. I'm like, do not harm Team Sun. I will be pissed. So we know that that's where she's, like, turning her gaze. It makes the most sense
for them to go there next.
Yeah, that's where she's turning her gaze now towards Shade Academy. But now they know that... the girls and Crow are taking the lamp to Atlas. So is she now going to change her focus and turn her focus towards Atlas, or is she just going to leave Tyrion to sort that out? But then I feel like she's not going to have so much faith in Tyrion, because the last time she sent him out to get Ruby, he failed pretty spectacularly.
I know.
Yeah.
He failed against a group of less skilled huntsmen, and now if she sent him back out there, he would be facing an even stronger group of huntsmen.
And Ospen.
And Ospen.
And she knows this now. So, worry for Monkey Boy. I'm very worried for Monkey Boy. When Hazel says, "Ma'am, I have more to report," and she's like, I'm just like,
that's.
I'm
I love
sorry.
Her eyes slightly change. Yeah, and her eyes are what express that. It's like, hey, wait, what? And then she starts getting like angry
her
again.
Eyes
It's like, oh,
literally say, "Bitch, what did you just say?" Oh, you have more to report, do you? Interesting. And then once he tells her that Ospen is leading them, Tyrion has a line. He says, "So soon." I
thought Watts said that.
No, that was Tyrion. And then Watts had some line about, like, something to do with the fucking relic, I don't know. But, yeah, Tyrion was the one who went, "So soon." And, like, it's not the first time we've heard somebody, like, Leo said to Hazel, "It's Ospen, he's already reincarnated." Like, this seems to be a pretty quick turnaround for Ospen. So I'm like, how long does it normally take him to convince the person whose body he's stolen to go on his secret mission? But at the same time, I'm like, we've only seen him before reincarnate into grown men. This is the first time we've seen him in a 14-year-old boy, and that sounds really bad.
We had this exact same problem last week.
I have a feeling that a lot of the reason to do with why it was easier this time is because of Oscar's youth, and I feel like he's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a lot more...
easily influenced,
he's a lot easier to influence than a grown man would be. A grown man would be stubborn and be like, "No, I'm not going on your secret mission. I have a life to live. I have a family." Me. But Oscar's a little kid who was just dreaming of more than what he had. Lisa, thank you for the host. Malleable. Thank you. Yes, that's the right word.
That's a great word. I like that.
It's a good word. So I have a feeling that has a lot to do with why Ospen apparently reincarnated so quickly.
Well, this is probably also some of the most dangerous times they've seen in a while. So, like, Oscar was probably just easier to convince, because he's like, "Listen, things are terrible. I need you to get your ass in gear."
At the same time, though, Oscar lived on a farm in the middle of some beautiful place where there was hardly any Grimm, but, you know... He was far away from the worries of the world. But, yeah, again, he's a little kid, so obviously, like, it was very easy to convince him that, like, "Oh, hey, you should come on this awesome secret mission with me. It'll be fun."
I was going to say, it's the appeal of an adventure, almost,
exactly. I'm going on an adventure! Yeah, you're going to fucking die, probably, so that's cool. Oz left that detail out. That's great. And there's so much that Oz didn't tell him. I'm like, Oz, you're a piece of shit. Like, seriously. You asshole. You've, like, literally... How many times has he done this now? That's the question. How many people has he led to their deaths? How many young... I was going to say young boys. Again, sounds very bad.
Young males.
How many teenagers has he... reincarnated into? How many young people? How young does a person, like, how old does a person have to be before he can reincarnate into them? Can he reincarnate into babies? We discussed this last week.
We talked about this last
week. Like, where is the line? Where's the line, Ozpin? Oz, you have no moral compass. Where the fuck's the line? Like, seriously, how many has he led to their deaths? Just by, like, convincing them, like, "Oh, we're gonna go on this secret mission and we're gonna save the world and shit." No, you're just gonna die eventually. And not complete your mission ever. Yeah, so Salem, her reaction to hearing that Ospen's back is not great. So
oh my god, that is an image.
This scene, I'm trying. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Well, first of all, babies don't talk, so...
No, that would be
That's
so
why it's
weird.
disturbing.
It's very
It'd
disturbing.
be like a possessed, like, exorcist situation.
Now I'm thinking of that movie, Baby Geniuses. Has anyone seen that? Where, like,
Oh, God.
they're real babies, but they, like, CGI their mouths to move when they speak. And I'm like, it's one of the creepiest movies ever, but I love it. That's a great movie. You should see that if you haven't seen it. Yeah, so Salem is not pleased. Just her quiet rage here when, like, the windows start to crack, and I'm like, uh-oh. And just, like, her quiet, like, look up at the group and, like, leave. And I notice that her voice echoes when she says that. And I'm like, oh, dear. Okay, vacate the room quickly. She's about to throw a temper tantrum.
The one thing I saw a lot of people talking about is that, like, Mercury used to be abused by his father. And so it's like, I'm surprised that, like, Mercury didn't, like, just fly out of that room.
Well, I mean,
but it could be that state of shock, though.
Yeah, I feel like they were rooted in place by fear at first, and then Hazel was like, "Okay, kids, come on, let's just leave Mum to it. She's fine. Everything's fine. Close the door quickly." And like even Tyrion was like, was going to say something, and then she looks at him like, "Bitch, don't you fucking dare get out of my sight right this instant." And he's like, "Okay, goodbye." He just sort of quietly creeps out of the room, and then the doors slowly close on Salem. And Emerald's face, oh my gosh. I am still holding out hope for an Emerald turnabout. I really
They're
want
really
her to do a
alluding to
360.
it.
A 180, not a 360. That wouldn't get her anywhere. I'm really, really still holding out hope for that because I love her character so much, and I feel like she feels like she's way over her head here. And the only thing that was keeping her there was Cinder, and now Cinder is not in the picture. She knows now that she's alive, but exactly how attached is Emerald to Cinder? It seemed like she was very attached to Cinder.
Well, that was one thing I wanted to point out is that when Salem was talking about goals, like your goals and my goals and blah blah blah, the three she listed were love, justice, and reverence. And it's like justice is very clearly Hazel's, and I feel like reverence is probably
Tyrion, and
probably also maybe a little bit Cinder as well. But love was definitely Emerald. Because when we saw the flashback episode in Volume 3 about Cinder and her meeting Emerald, like, Emerald had nobody, and then this person came along and is giving her attention and food and safety and, making her feel important. Like, we've always kind of known that, like, Emerald loved Cinder, just didn't really know to what extent.
Yeah.
I also think it's definitely very one-sided and also very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Definitely very one-sided. Cinder does not reciprocate any sort of emotional attachment to Emerald. But there's also that scene in Volume 2, Chapter 1, where Emerald goes to hug Cinder when she arrives and she gets blanked hard. But I'm like, Emerald is infatuated with Cinder in one form or another.
It's borderline obsessive.
It is.
Like, yeah.
And it's a very unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Emerald has to get out of before she can get out.
I'm wondering though, now she knows that Cinder's alive and out there somewhere, will she leave to go look for her?
Well, that's one thing. That's why I think Salem said this, is because she said this after she made it clear that Cinder was alive, and she, mentioned the love motivation, but my motivations trump yours. So, Emerald, if you want Cinder, you have to work with me. Don't you think about going after Cinder on your own?
And
or I'll
that's
end you.
I was going to say that's probably that second half of that quote where she says basically let Cinder stew in her own problems for a bit, because like, honestly, and
saw that face, Cory.
I did nothing.
I think that's a sort of a second meaning, basically going, you help me, then you can go get Cinder, kind of thing.
The path to your desires is only found through me, is what she says. And before that, she says, the moment you put your desires before my own, they will be lost to you. So she's like making it very clear that like, yes, Cinder is alive and she's out there somewhere, but don't even think about going out there after her, because bitch, I will end you both. Okay, I can do that if I want. But then her hands are tied with Cinder because she couldn't just kill her, because then she'd be back to square one with the Full Maiden, and she would have to go find her again, and like that's a whole thing.
Well, I talked about this in my reaction, but I can't imagine that Salem didn't instill some kind of training into Cinder, that in the event that she dies, she just think of Emerald. Like Emerald, she must have tried to do something to like make it so that way Cinder would try to think of Emerald if she were to die.
Yeah.
To give Emerald the powers.
I mean, is Cinder really gonna do that? Like, do you really think she was thinking of Emerald when Raven busted her ass off the cliff?
Oh,
Probably
definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. She was like, oh my god, I can't believe this Raven bitch just killed me.
I know, exactly, and guess who the powers probably would have gone to? Not Emerald. Probably Raven, but that's the thing, we don't know if somebody who already has Maiden powers can receive another Maiden's powers without stealing them. So, because Cinder was trying to steal them, so... imagine if Emerald is the one to defeat Cinder. I don't think Emerald's got it in her. I don't think she'll ever have it in her. I think she's too obsessed.
I think that Cinder will someday turn on Emerald, and that will be the like breaking point for Emerald. But I don't think that Emerald could ever really turn on Cinder.
No, I don't think Emerald will ever be to the point where like, hey, we're teaming up with Team Ruby now. Let's do this. I don't think that's not going to be her turnabout arc.
Yeah, her turnabout will be, I'm leaving this stupid war. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And then she'll probably die. I imagine, like, she'll try to leave and someone will kill her. Either Cinder or Salem. They'll be like, no, actually, no, you can't do that. Which terrifies me. I don't want Emerald to die, but, you know. Not directly, maybe like an illusion in the right spot, making her miss a target. Who knows? I don't see how they would ever get into that situation, but anything could happen, so... she's not going to team up with the heroes. That's just not her. That's not in her future.
No.
Plus, also, just like I can foresee an event where her trust with Cinder breaks, and like she realizes everything has been a fraud or everything's been a manipulation. But even then, I can't imagine her just like turning around and being like, "Well, you fucking bitch, die!" Like, you don't just kind of turn off that kind of love.
No.
I mean, I almost expect her to maybe try to get into a fight with Cinder, and then have that moment of hesitation, and Cinder just destroys her.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Like I can just see that being It's sad, and that's going to be a really rough situation.
So yeah, Salem screams, the whole world gets destroyed. Cut. Yeah. So the very last scene.
Oh, before we move too far on, I want to know, how do you think she knows Cinder's alive? Is the other thing.
She's fucking Salem. I don't know. I don't know how she knows.
I wonder if it has anything to do with that, like either the Grim Arm or with the like little Grim Beetle that stole the thing.
I know how she knows. Probably
everyone in chat just said Grim Arm.
Yeah.
Probably the Seer Grim, maybe.
Well, but we saw that there have to be like, it's like a telephone. It's like she's got this one and there's this one, but like you don't see a Seer Grim following Cinder around.
It's like 2 tin cans and a piece of string, you know.
Exactly.
Cinder's just carrying around a Grim cell phone with her, like, "Hey Salem, I'm still alive."
Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared.
I wonder what the phone reception like on
Can
that.
you come pick me up? I'm scared. You still haven't even seen that movie, bitch. Stop quoting that movie. You haven't seen it. Stop.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace. Stop. Okay, so the last scene. I liked how much tension that there was. Like, everybody is on a very short fuse at the moment, and you can hear it in their tones where, like, Blake's like, "I just want to get this stupid relic to Atlas," and Weiss is like, "Hopefully we don't have to walk all the way there," and Yang's like, I'm Yang, I'm angsty right now. I thought trails led somewhere, she says, and everybody's like barking at each other, sort of, and everybody's on a short fuse and everybody's full of tension, and they're going to probably, if they don't pull Grim towards them, they're going to pull something else towards them, definitely, with all their negativity that's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
this farm that they rock up at. I didn't like the look of it the moment I set my eyes on it. I was like, this is
It has the creepy circle.
Yes. I was like, I don't like this. This does not look good. Something bad is going to happen here next chapter. This is not going to go the way they think it is.
I don't think it's next chapter. I think it's the next, but...
I think it's next chapter. I have a feeling we're not going to leave them for too long, because what else is there besides them and the villains at the moment? What else is there to show?
Well, I did some research about the name Brunswick, and apparently, according to some people, that if you translate, like taking different translations for the word Brunswick, you get something that roughly means an ideal resting place.
Oh, okay.
And
sure.
and then as Pishin says, is Brunswick is the name of the town associated with the Headless Horseman.
Oh shit. Well, if I didn't know better, I would say Nikelavi, but we've had that already. That's been done.
Well, that also had a head.
It did. The ending to this chapter was very strange. It was very jarring when I watched it. Where like they all walk through the gate, and Crow kind of lets the swing close, and then boom, and the episode cuts to black and ends. And I was like, well, that's fucking ominous as hell. I was like. It was just a really weird ending, though. Like, it was very sudden and very jarring, but I'm not sure if that was deliberate, but...
It almost reminds you of, when you see, like, trailers for a horror movie and that, and it's just, like, that hard cut, and it's like, and now you've got to see the next bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was I think it was deliberate. I honestly think it was deliberate.
But I think it was executed a little strangely as well.
Yeah,
so... That was chapter 4. I'm very worried about chapter 5. I'm like, something terrible is going to happen in this farm. This is going to go badly. This is not going to go their way at all. I have actually seen the title, description, and thumbnail for the next chapter.
Oh, you only told us the runtime.
I'm not going to say anything. I only told these guys the runtime, which is 14 minutes and 9 seconds for chapter 5. So
not a short one.
Not a short one. But we're not going to discuss the thumbnail or the title or the description because it's first member stuff only. And
I'm hoping that next episode we get something like kind of like a revamp of what we got during Volume 2, Episode 9, with the campfire. I want them to have another campfire talk.
Really? Are you not sick of the campfire talks? Because I am.
Well, I know, but like I just want them to all like discuss this and also like find out about Maria and about Silver Eyes and like I want them to finally talk again. Like I finally want Blake and Yang to talk, and I finally I want to hear Weiss's thoughts on things.
It's almost chapter 5 now, and Blake and Yang still haven't sorted their shit out. I'm like. They need to sort their shit out, and they need to do it soon, because we are rapidly approaching halfway through the volume already. I'm like, it's like 3 episodes away, and we'll be at the halfway point, and I'm like, Blake and Yang still haven't sorted their shit out. They need to do this. Like, this is just going to pile up and pile up and pile up, and they're just going to keep ignoring it. And now tensions are running so high in the group. I'm like, it's going to take one wrong word from either Blake or Yang, and boom, it's all gonna be off.
That's why I also want them to do it now too, is because they're extra emotional. Yang is super pissed off. Blake is super panicky. Like, it would be just. It's a good catalyst for conflict.
I'm feeling an argument coming on in chapter 5 between somebody. Somebody is gonna lose their shit, and then something's gonna happen. Like the Grimm are gonna rock up or some shit like that, because everybody's just pissed off at everyone else. Crow's just gonna sit in the corner and let it happen, probably. And Oscar is...
Oh, he's gonna be so smashed so soon.
He's gonna be very drunk. But we've seen him fight drunk before, so I mean he'll be fine. But like, he's Crow. Yeah, I mean I don't think it's gonna be a talk, Clarissa. I think it's gonna be a fucking blowout. If anything, I feel like everybody's gonna just be like, well, that's the thing that just happened, and now we don't know how to process any of this, so we're just gonna yell at each other. That's probably what's gonna happen. So yeah, predictions for Chapter 5. That's my prediction. Big argument and attacked by Grimm. Let's go.
I just want to learn more about Maria. Like, no! I want to learn about Maria.
I need to know what Maria's deal is. We still haven't found out.
You know, just comparing her to another character from a completely different series. It just reminds me of that, like, what's her name out of Star Wars? Maz Kanata. Yeah. It's exactly that same mindset, and it's like she's lovable, but don't mess with her. Like there's something about her that's going to be so pivotal to all this. I think a revelation will happen that she's actually something of massive importance.
Pishin can't give his predictions instead based on the previous. I have other predictions based on the thumbnail and the title and the description, but I'm making the predictions I had before I knew those things. Because now my predictions are different.
I haven't even looked. I should look.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
I mean, I haven't looked, but I'm not gonna.
We will discuss it after the podcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm just curious because you guys, you're cringing and I want to know.
Well, yeah. It's so hard not. This is why this is why I don't normally look until after the Boopcast because, but it was on my Discord yesterday, so I saw it.
Yes, it was already up yesterday. Really?
Yeah, it was up yesterday, which is unusually soon. Normally it wouldn't be up until today, so I wouldn't have seen it yet, but it was up yesterday. The thumbnail's from the preview. Yeah, I know, but I didn't watch the preview for obvious reasons. Yeah. So, predictions.
I just want to learn about Maria, that's all. I want to learn about Maria. I want them to talk. I really want them to start doing something related to either Summer Rose or Silver Eyes or something. Because like you said, we're rapidly approaching the middle of the volume, and I want them to finally do something.
Yeah. Something. Can you guys just please talk something out? Because you have a lot to talk out, and you haven't talked any of it.
Yeah, Larissa, I think I've seen the same video. I saw a thumbnail from somebody uploading the preview on YouTube, and it popping up in my recommended.
Yes, I saw that same GIF, or same piece of the preview on Twitter, but it is the same as the thumbnail, thankfully. So, yeah, I mean, I just still didn't want to see it. But if it's in the thumbnail, then I'm not going to sweat that too much. What's Maria's deal? Everyone's wondering what Maria's deal is, and hopefully we'll find out soon.
Yeah. Especially because so many people think she's a silver-eyed warrior. They're like, come on, you can do this. I believe in you.
Yeah. I didn't watch the preview, but I saw it in my YouTube feed. So annoying. Yeah, exactly. And people keep uploading the preview illegally to YouTube as well. And then it keeps popping up in my recommended because fuck YouTube. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but we've gone over an hour and 40 minutes.
I know.
How did we do that? How did we
passed
even
the
do
hour
that?
mark, we were barely at Salem, and I was like,
I was going to say.
Yeah. So, any more predictions for next week? Or next
Not
week?
really.
This week? Not next week?
Not really. I have a feeling episode 6 is going to be... We're going to get more fighting in episode 6. I don't think we'll get any in episode 5, but definitely episode 6.
Bye, Larissa. Have fun on the Corner of Remnant. Let me just pop the thingy up there. Larissa is about to go stream her Ruby podcast, The Corner of Remnant, so they will be starting in 16 minutes, so if you want to head over to Larissa's Twitch to wait for that one to go live. And Imperial Dawn is now online. Thank you, Skype. So she does that podcast with Imperial Dawn, and they will be chatting about Chapter 4. So, yeah, okie dokie. I guess I'm going to throw everybody's links up here. There's Cory, there's Beaz. Yeah. I suppose we're wrapping quite early this week for a change. Last week we went 3 hours. So, but again, this was a very short chapter, so...
I was going to say, there was half the length of the last one.
The chapter length, the podcast lengths are going to fluctuate with the chapter lengths, obviously, so... I mean, this chapter was 14 minutes and we got an hour and 40 minutes, so...
Yeah, I'm
last
surprised.
week was nearly half an hour, we went for 3 hours, so...
But to be fair, we were also still discussing quite a bit of the chapter 3 as well.
Yes.
Because we're just all still reeling.
Exactly. So this podcast will be up on YouTube tomorrow at about 10:30 a.m. probably, since it's 10:15 now.
In about 24 hours.
In 24 hours minutes from when the stream stops, it will be on YouTube. unless it's late for whatever reason. And maybe if I forgot to render it like I did last week. Whoops. I did that last week and it ended up being late by a few hours, but it will be up on YouTube tomorrow, as will all of our reactions. Mine and Cory's reactions will be on YouTube tomorrow. Tyson's a pleb and he doesn't react to Ruby.
Let's see, has mine been unblocked yet? Let's go check. My video hasn't been unblocked yet, so mine might not actually be up tomorrow. I uploaded it yesterday morning.
Cory.
Hey, I know. Listen, Bailey's been home.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'll give you a pass because your sister's home. That's fine. Yeah, I've been finding that if I get my reaction up on Sunday or Monday, it gets unblocked the next day. So, haven't had any problems with that this volume yet, knock on wood. So, yeah, my reaction will be up tomorrow and Cory's will be up whenever because he's a pleb. And obviously Larissa's will be up tomorrow as well, and yeah, the Coroner of Remnant will also be on YouTube tomorrow, so you'll have plenty to watch regarding Ruby tomorrow, as well as the new episode. So yeah, I'm scared. And there's Cory's and Tyson's links, and you can go check them out. You guys should know everybody anyway, so but yeah, thank you for watching. Tyson, thank you for joining us to chat about Chapter 4.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
At least my voice held out.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. You like messaged me last night like, I have no voice. And I was like, shit.
It's not too bad this morning. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, so thank you everybody who tuned in live. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can tune in to the Boopcast live every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time, which is Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Did I get that right? Is it 2 p.m.? I think so.
Yep.
So that live streams every single week while Ruby is on. Yes, we are doing a podcast on the off week. We won't be having guests on, but we will be doing one regarding the chapter 14 of volume 5, because we never did a podcast on that one because RTX Sydney got in the way. So 4 p.m. Central, thank you Pishin. Friday 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. PST, Saturday mornings 8:30 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time, every week. So we will see you next week for the Boopcast. Well, actually we'll see you tomorrow for our reactions, but it was a week ago for us. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye!
Bye!
See ya!